So from one fascist and his propaganda outlet to another fascist and his propaganda outlet.
Dennis Prager. Prager for kids. Leo and Layla, the communist eaters. Yeah. They've gone to meet Christopher Columbus.
Genocidal maniac.
Yeah, so who's ready
And
for some genocide cover-up?
yeah, yep. Because, we have to protect the people who did the genocides because white supremacy is very, very fragile.
He discovered the entire world. The world, and no one had ever even been to the world before Christopher Columbus, please.
No, it was just completely empty.
Why do you hate Italians?
Can you imagine if, like, Native Americans showed up in Europe and just started claiming land?
Yeah. Well, they should. Just take the piss. Just Native Americans go over and just be like, we've landed in France. Yeah, discovered this. This is ours.
Yeah,
Come on,
just
fuck
grab
off.
a flag,
Yeah.
put it in the ground,
This
say,
is ours. See ya.
"Okay, you're not doing anything meaningful with this land. In fact, you're hurting the environment, so I'm claiming it back to be responsible.
Yeah.
You don't know how to use it."
Exactly. You can have that bit over there. We'll call it like a reservation or some shit. And we'll definitely agree. We'll stick to this deal. We will. Promise. Pinky promise.
We won't go back on it. Mhm.
Yeah. No taxis, backsies. Honest. Yeah. Mm.
Oh, hey.
What's up with the face? You look stressed.
I'm just doing some research.
Yeah, he's had such a hard life, the kid. He's like 7 or something. What do you mean he looks stressed? The characterization is 2D at best.
Yeah, it's really not aimed at kids.
Paper thin.
Yes.
Was today weird for you?
Yeah, how'd you guess?
Columbus Day.
Or Native American Day, or Indigenous Peoples Day? It's weird, right?
Yeah, some of the teachers at my school really don't like Christopher Columbus and don't think he
Yeah, what? Because he's a genocidal maniac
I wonder why.
and enslaved people.
should have a holiday, but some do.
It's the same with my teachers, and even some kids got into arguments about it today. You finding any good info?
Kinda, but it's real mixed. The side against Columbus says he was a really mean guy who spread slavery, disease, and violence to people who would have been better off if he'd never gone to the New World.
Ouch.
I
Yep.
know, but the side for him says he was a really courageous guy who loved exploring, inspired generations, and spread Christianity and Western civilization to people
you-
who really benefited.
Oh God. Oh my God.
How did they do the spreading of Christianity? Anyone?
Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
anyone remember what they did there?
They destroyed the local culture and their
Completely
books.
obliterated them, often
Yep.
killed them, forced them
Yep.
at gunpoint
Yeah.
to do that. Yeah, literally burned entire libraries
Mm-hmm.
of ancient knowledge. Fantastic. Yeah, but apart from that, yeah, no, it was super cool. Also, Dennis, you're not Christian, mate. What's
Right?
up with that? What
Again,
you doing?
Christian fascism. He knows his audience. He knows
'Cause-
his funders.
You know, the same people who funded Christopher Columbus were the ones that did the Spanish Inquisition, the one that tortured and murdered Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, right?
Mm-hmm. See, I think the thing is, yes, Columbus might have come over and stolen lands that weren't his and genocided a bunch of people and enslaved them and sexually exploited them. But at least they were Christians when he did it.
Well, exactly. It's fine if Christians do it.
Yeah, because they were Christians because that was that was good for them, and so everything else it kind of it's like it cancels each other out.
Exactly. Yeah. You can kill as long as it's for God. Yeah.
Or enslave people.
Or enslave, rape,
Yep.
rape people,
Yep.
including children. Yeah.
Yep.
From new ways of thinking and doing things.
That sounds really good.
I know.
It totally
think?
cancels
Which
out the
side is right?
genocide.
I don't
Yeah.
know. It seems really complicated, but both sides are just giving.
Not that complicated. Actually.
No, like Christianity doesn't outweigh human suffering.
Yeah.
A little bit of technology doesn't outweigh like decimation of an entire continent.
You know what they used to call
Fucking apologists.
Columbus Day in Spain? This is genuinely true. The day of
Nope.
the race.
What?
Yeah. They used to refer to it as the day of the race, i.e. white people. Literal just out and out white supremacy from the place that funded that expedition and grew rich from it.
Like, do we celebrate like Mongol Day? when the Mongol hordes reached
Oh.
like the edge of Western Europe and then decimated the whole population, going, well, you know, like they advanced the technology of Europe as a consequence.
Yeah, look, do you not put up a Genghis Khan tree?
Yeah, come
No?
on.
Okay.
What? We
Is
should
that
all
just
do
me?
Genghis Khan Day?
Yeah,
What?
exactly. Yeah. Expulsion of Jews from Spain was the expulsion from Spain following the Alhambra Decree in 1492, which was literally the year that he landed in the New World, which were enacted in order to eliminate the influence of the Spain of the Converso, which is the population who claimed to have converted to Christianity but
See,
didn't.
they were like 2 or 3 centuries behind the mass expulsion of all Jewish people from England.
Yeah,
Wasn't that done in the 12th century?
indeed.
Posers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like English people know the original. Well, anti-Semitism it's basically rooted in Christianity. So
Yeah, but to be fair, they didn't kill Christ, so check.
yeah, the Romans did.
Exactly.
Yet they're not mad at the Pope or anybody in Rome or their descendants.
That's right.
Weird,
we should
huh?
declare war on Rome.
Yeah,
Fuck
definitely.
it. Why not?
Having their opinions. It would be cool to hear from, you know, the source. Huh?
Yeah,
Huh?
the Native
You want
Americans.
us to go talk to Christopher Columbus, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Hang on. What? Why would he be the source? He's the claim. What? Again,
Why
it's
wouldn't we
it's
get
the
both
going to the
sides?
Bible to get evidence for the Bible.
Pretty much.
Like he's going to go there and he's going to go, no, I am an absolute prick. You know, you really shouldn't support me. I'm a terrible human being. I'm still going to
Look-
carry on doing exactly what I'm doing, but I am a
Yeah.
bad person. Like, no, obviously not.
Look, you know, I know that slavery is, you know, you consider it morally wrong, and we knew it was wrong. But you know, we did it anyway because it made us money, and it was easier than doing the work ourselves.
But even so, even
shrug.
within that, even within a time where slavery was fine, he was literally the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth person to send slaves across the Atlantic. Literally true. He was so terrible to the natives, killed so many of them, raped so many of them, including children, a thing for which he was literally thrown in jail upon him being sacked by the Queen and King of Spain, who again were the ones who did the actual, not the Monty Python, no one expects the Inquisition, the actual torture and murder of people for not being Christian enough, right? That thing. But then he was too much of a shitbag for them. They fired him and brought him back and threw him in jail. He was too bad. He was a prick even for those times.
They're not going to mention that, though. I bet.
No.
I hope he's not me.
Can we pause it? You know, wouldn't it be amazing if they
Hang
met
on.
Columbus?
Somewhere over the Atlantic. We can't bury that lead. That's amazing. Go on. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. What if they land on his ships, one of his ships where he is, and he enslaves them?
Well, clearly he would consider them to be English spies. Yeah, that'd be fine. I mean, that would actually be perfectly reasonable, actually. Well, not the enslaving, but the
No.
arresting, surely. Yeah.
Arresting, yeah, but
Yeah.
no, proper, you know, like treat them like they treat the natives.
Well, they're
Suddenly, this
both-
cartoon would be very dark.
Well, I mean, he was known to have raped girls as young as 11, so she might be too old for him. She might be a little bit too much. Just a thought. Oh, this one's got hair on it. Ugh.
Don't be alarmed, sir.
Don't worry about it. I'm wrapping up the wildest journey maybe that anyone's ever taken. No,
What the fuck is that accent? Where's this person even from?
Why are his eyes glowing?
Because he's blue-eyed, Kristi. Because he's
Is
the
he?
most Aryan.
Yeah, quite apparently.
Yeah. Also, he's got
Ginger
elephantitis of the
Aryan.
balls, apparently. Shame. Terrible disease.
nothing phases me. What, you from the future?
How'd you guess?
Either that or Indians? I've kinda had a hard time.
What the fuck? What the fuck did I just hear?
Yeah.
You're either from the future or Indians. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, are we also just going to skip over the whole, which shitbag person, but Louis C.K. pointed out that, Europeans arrived when, are you guys Indians? Is this India? Like, no. Like, you're not Indians? Yeah, you're just Indians. We're just going to call you the wrong thing for the next 2 centuries.
Well, he died. He was convinced he had found India. He said it was. He still claimed it was India because he's such a great fucking navigator. He was in the wrong quarter of the earth.
Yeah, and none of the things they were looking for were there.
No, like there were already settlements that would have given it away. Really, there were already like Portuguese and English trading ports and cities and things. Like there were people who could speak English, and there were people there
In India, yeah.
in India, yeah. And they got there and they were like, they didn't really look that much alike. The
Nope.
climate was different.
Yep.
None of the coastline matched any of the maps they had.
Nope.
But he still went, you know what? I reckon this is India, lads. And everyone
Yeah.
went, fuck it, he's a nutter. Don't. He'll fucking cut you up. Just go with it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's the guy. Oh, God. I don't know if you. Do you remember? Goodness gracious me, were you around in Britain for that?
No, I think that was before my time.
Okay, there was the Indian dad. It's not actually that relevant, but it is funny, so I'm playing it. Dad, goodness. Anyway, he basically thinks everything's Indian, which is the point. It made me think of it.
Okay. All right. Let's watch.
And so he literally says everything is Indian. Hang on.
Share your screen.
I'll share. Yeah, well, Dad, all right. So this is like Christopher Columbus, but without the weirdness.
Come on, beta, let's clear these comic books away.
Oh, don't move that. That's my Superman collection. I'm trying to put it in order.
But you've got so many. Do you need this many comics?
Superman's my favorite superhero.
Ah, well, I can understand that. He's so brave, so strong, so Indian. Superman Indian.
No!
Come on, you've seen the film. He runs faster than a speeding train. There's only one country where you can run faster than the train. What about Clark Kent? Clark Kent. National health glasses. Bad haircut. Go to Calcutta, you see millions of civil servants dressed exactly the same.
No, Dad! Superman comes from Krypton.
Kerala. Think about it, yaar. He's got 2 jobs. Indian. Never takes a day off work. Indian. And how does he get around? Cheap flights.
I don't believe you.
Not just Superman. Batman, Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, all top superheroes come from India.
Rubbish.
Not rubbish. You look at the ancient Hindu texts, they're full of superheroes. There's Holy Man, Hanuman, Catman,
Kathmandu.
Okay, forget that one. But also Mongoose Man, Bribery Man, Latrine Boy.
Okay, one more. Christianity is Indian. Let's go.
Okay.
Listen, Dad, I've got something to tell you, and you're not going to like it.
What is it?
Well, Dad, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I've decided to become a Christian.
Good.
Good? I thought you'd be upset.
Beta, why would I be upset at Christianity when it's Indian?
No, it's not, Dad. Listen, I've accepted Jesus as my savior.
Well, of course you have, beta, because he was a nice Indian boy.
Not Jesus.
Beta, he's as Indian as they come. He worked for his father, Indian. Parents had children without having sex, Indian. Fed 5,000 people with 2 loaves and 5 fishes, Indian picnic.
That's not true.
Beta, not just him. All people from the Bible, Indian.
Rubbish.
Not rubbish. Think about it, yaar. Moses, the people came unto him with their suffering. He went up the mountain and came back with 2 tablets because he was a pharmacist. Noah came from a land where it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. He was Bengali. Walls of Jericho. Walk around it 7 times, blow a trumpet, the whole thing falls down. Indian builders.
No!
And that other fellow, Samson. Big, strong man, long hair. Cut his hair, lies weak as a child because he was sick.
The Bible's not Indian, Dad. Read the Gospels. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Mahmud, Malik, Lakshmi, and Jaggi. Beta, apostles, Indian.
What about Judas? He betrayed Jesus for 30 pieces of silver.
Well, business is business.
No, Dad.
I'm telling you, beta, all people from the Bible, Indian. All except one.
Which one?
God, not Indian.
Why not?
In 6 days, he created the heaven and the earth and everything upon it. And on the 7th day, he rested. What kind of India doesn't work Sundays?
That's it. I'm off to church.
Now, beta, sing with me. And was Jerusalem builded here on Jalandhar's brown and fair?
So,
All right, if we're gonna do comedy break, can we watch
Indian.
Can we watch Midwest Guy that I sent you?
shit, yeah, okay.
Is it in your Facebook? Is it easier for you to get?
Yes, I'll have to go onto the Facebook. Anyway, yes. 1 second.
So Kevin felt personally attacked by this.
This is a microaggression against British people. This is racism. What I'm about to show you.
All right.
That thing was actually racially sensitive compared to this.
I think people here might remember the Craigslist kicker and the Manitowoc Minute, which we watched a few episodes of. Well, Charlie Barons is still out. He still does stuff on his channel. Does some good things, actually, if you want to check him out. But apparently, he went to the UK to watch the other kind of football.
Yes,
London,
he did.
particularly.
Yeah.
Here we are in London. Gonna put that on the Snapstagram. Shoot, phone's dead. Does anyone have the time? Look at this Ferris wheel. This place is almost as cool as the Wisconsin State Fair. Holy smokes. I wonder how many Davenports they can fit in there. Yeah, I won tickets to see the Packers play here in the Sheboygan Euchre tournament. Going into the tube. Sounds erotic.
All right, time to charge the old cell. What in the heck is this?
Don't worry, I did my research. I watched The Crown, first episode, so know a little bit about this place. Long live the Queen. What's that? Okay, spoiler alert, what season's that? So here we are at the Pickle Willie Circus, looking for the clowns, nowhere to be found.
I'm sorry, who is this? You're a doctor? Doctor who? What do you mean exactly?
There's a castle here, there's a dungeon down there. We actually got that
We
back
are
home, the Mars
caricatures,
Cheese
we are.
Castle. That'll really lock you up. Jeepers, cripes, crime and all Freddy, gosh darn shoot, I tell you what, these sums of guns talk a little funny here. The accent's honest to Pete. Not quite as sexy as a nice Sheboygan drawl, I'll tell you that right now. Here you got one of them classic London buses. They were, of course, inspired by the Culver's Double Butter Burger. So here we are at the Abbey Road. It's like the Beatles, you know. George Harrison wasn't wearing his trainers. You know, that's a new one. We call them tennies back home. This is kind of one of the big things I wanted to do. Pretty gosh darn excited. No, you guys go first. Yeah, no, after you. Oh, got some cars.
And I love the fact
after
that
you.
in my
hang on,
mind,
got one.
Pause.
Double.
my mental canon on this is that he actually really wanted to go to Abbey Road and just thought, well, we can do that and I'll film a bit while we're there.
Yeah.
So he's sort of taking the piss out of it whilst also doing it.
Yeah, the kind of Midwest nice stereotype of, oh no, you go ahead. No, you just squeeze right by me. Go ahead.
Oop, oop, oop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Butterburger bus is coming through. Oh, Chinatown, nice. Where is the Panda Express? No, I'm on the corner of 20th and Give Way. You gotta hurry this up. I only got half a gig of data because Verizon sucks eggs. It's just great being back in the homeland. You know, we got some English blood in the family. Smitty, he's an English setter. Pointer, okay. I'm working on my accent. I can't communicate with anyone here. Also, that's how you talk British. Oh boy, no snow, no fighting, no fortune telling, no cocaine. By order, the Pewaukee Blinders. Shoot, Peaky. Who's next? Yeah, nope, after you. I'll wait till all of you guys go. Okay. Not me. Definitely not me. Jeez Louise, when they said underground, they weren't kidding. Red, white, and blue. Very American of these breads. No sucking petrol out there. Oh, sorry. That's just... Cheerio. Jeez Louise, they let anyone play here these days. So here we are on Regent
Leicester
Street, where
Square
all the
Theatre, that's
shops
pretty
are,
good.
but I am
Yeah,
not
right?
seeing a fleet farm
Not
anywhere
bad.
in sight. I mean, not even a quick trip. Okay, look at me, look at me. Looking good. Here, there you go. Okay, who's next? If I get hit, it's fine. It got you the picture. Looking good. Yeah, no, I got you next. Anyone else, just get in line. Or, sorry, get in the queue. Oh, wow, you got all the poses. Good on you. Car's coming. Yep. Yeah, no, tell your folks I says hi, okay? And watch for deer, okay? All right, well, stags here, they call them. Okay, well, and I guess there's no one left in the queue to take a picture of, and no one left to take a picture of me, so I suppose, guess I'll just go to the pub. Okay. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, Leicester Square Theatre.
Racist. Anyway, from one racist to another, yeah, I did just compare Charlie Barons to fucking Christopher Columbus. Yes, I did. And what?
Are you Indian is where we left off.
Are you Indian? Anyway, so yeah, he's like the Indian dad. Everyone's Indian.
Time telling who's what.
Including these two white children.
One that has blue hair.
One that has blue hair, yes. Fucking SJW.
I'm Layla. He's my brother Leo, and we need to learn about you.
We live 500 years from now, and there's a holiday for you, but it's really controversial and we're confused.
Nice! I have a holiday? Well, caramba! I should! I've worked so hard to get to this point, and what
It's also racist against white people. It's racist against everyone. Ay caramba!
He was Italian, wasn't he?
He was. Well, Genoese, technically, yes.
Well, yeah, I guess modern day Italy,
Yeah.
but yeah. I mean, he would have spoke Italian. He wouldn't have said "I caramba" just
No.
because he was sponsored by the Spanish government.
No.
What kind of bullshit history class is this?
True. Also, Eddie PX, I already told you earlier, hit the fucking follow button, chap.
Come on,
Let's not play
hit
around.
that button. Hit that button.
You've been told twice now.
Yeah. If you don't, we'll ban you.
was
No, just kidding.
insane!
No, we won't.
Will you tell us about your journey?
Allow me to give you a little biographical information so it all makes sense.
Okay.
I was raised in the port town of Genoa along the Mediterranean Sea. My papa was a wool weaver, and most boys just did whatever their dads did. But I was different. Every day I
Not
would
really doing the
look out at
genocide,
the
huh?
sea and
Well, look, there's still 11 more minutes. I am certain they will be accurate and faithful to the history, and will tell us all about the genocide.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
convinced of it, okay?
Okay. Okay.
wonder what was out there beyond just what I could see.
I see what you did there. So you were curious?
See. And so, as a teenager and a young man, I did everything I could to cure my curious nature. I volunteered for all kinds of crazy sea adventures, and I took my first one at 14.
just quick. You know, like if they were gonna do any other like genocidal maniac in history, do you think they would start like with his childhood, and have him portray himself in a really heroic way? Like, could you see this being done for Pinochet or Stalin, or?
Well, I think they quite like Pinochet, yeah, so they probably would do that. I think, yeah. Also, Procman, hello there, first time chatter. Hit the follow button. Seriously,
Okay.
I'm going to tell every motherfucker they need to hit the follow button until they do. Until
That's your
everyone in
thing.
the world follows me.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Whoa.
Boom. There we go.
victory
Got,
is ours.
get called out.
Yeah. Procman,
Welcome.
thank you. Also, Eddie, follow Procman's fucking rules. You've been told 3 times now.
Oh.
Yeah, and soon sailed to Iceland, Ireland, and Africa. I taught myself to read, learned many
Oh, by the
languages.
Insomnia, I don't know if you listened to my announcement earlier, but I'll be debating the Phoenix Rising tomorrow. Yeah, that's right. Yankee Tanker, he's going to be here. The man, the myth, the fucking weird 7-Eleven alleyway creature.
Like,
He will
why
be
are
here.
they? Why are they all rising? Like, it just seems a little bit cliche.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I suppose because they're so fucking small, dickheads.
And read everything I could about geography, astronomy, and exploration, including my favorite book, The Travels of Marco Polo.
Marco.
Polo.
Okay?
Oh, it's a game we play in swimming pools.
Again, Spanish.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. Marco Polo is the greatest explorer who ever lived. In fact,
Well, he got to where he was going. Yeah. To be fair, he set out for China and got there. You never went anywhere fucking near India, you brat.
You loser.
the trade routes he wrote of and their closing is basically why I'm here right now.
What do you mean?
Well, first, the writings of his amazing journey to the Far East inspired me to be an explorer. But then, 40 years ago, when
Okay,
the
hold
Muslims
on.
conquered
I'm just like, I'm sorry. I'm just, you said about how none of the coastlines that they came across matched anything on their existing maps.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, had they been going for India, they would have probably first hit like the Chinese mainland in Southeast Asia, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And
they
they knew
were aware
those
of China
existed.
at this point, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know the map thing, and it's just blowing my mind even more that.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, look, the maps weren't great. Let's not pretend they were awesome. But people were well aware of various of the Pacific Islands at this point. They didn't know it was different. They still, many of them thought that the Pacific and the Atlantic were the same thing. They didn't know the Americas were there, which is kind of the point, I guess. But
Yeah.
either way, they knew that what we now know as Pacific Islands existed. So if they were to pass
Yeah.
west, going to India across the non-existent Americas, they would bump into many of these islands and the sailors traversing the waters around them.
Right,
And
because they were really close to a trading area.
Yeah, and they never did. And at no point did he go, that's weird and suspicious.
I may have done fucked up.
Yeah. He just went, nah, this is India. Fuck it, mate. India's just 1,000,000 times bigger than we thought. Fucking idiot. Anyway.
Constantinople and closed down the Silk Road, they made it impossible to get by land from Europe to Asia. And that opened up the desire and opportunity to figure out a path by the sea.
What was so important about getting from Europe to Asia?
Leo, we want to trade. They have so much cool stuff in places like India, China, and the Spice Islands.
And it was just trade, honest. There was no nefarious intent whatsoever. It was just trade. We promise.
I guess. Spices.
Smarty pants. If you tried our Middle Ages European food,
Why is he letting a
you
woman
would
talk?
know how much we need those
True. Also, why is she allowed to have her arms exposed? Harlot.
Yep.
Outrageous.
spices.
So you wanted to get spices from Asia and make a lot of money?
No, I wanted to explore the world and see things that nobody where I'm from had ever seen before.
He wanted to make fat stacks of cash, and he didn't care how he did it. Like he was going to enslave people. He was always going to enslave people, even if he'd fucking landed in India. He wanted to enslave motherfuckers, steal their shit. There was no fucking trade involved here, except if you mean trade led into human bodies, perhaps.
Yeah, are they going to tell him, hey, maybe don't do a mass genocide?
Well, because they don't fucking know. To be fair, the kids don't seem to realise
Oh,
that that's
the
what
kid
happened.
talked about genocide in the end opener.
Well, no, he said violence, didn't he?
No, didn't he?
I think he
thought
said yeah, he said he spread violence to people, which is
And
not necessarily.
he did say enslave.
Yeah, true. Okay, yeah, no, fuck them. They're pricks. Yeah, little wanker.
I didn't have enough money for a crazy sea adventure, so I had to get a sponsor. I needed to convince a really rich person to pay for my trips.
Ah, so you had to be persuasive and tell somebody that paying for your trip would make them even more money. You get to explore, and they get spices and stuff from Asia to sell and make a profit.
Also, he lied, by the way. Or at least it's thought that he lied. He initially approached the King of Portugal, who turned him down. He then went to the King and Queen of Spain, Ferdinand and Isabella, and lied and said that the Portuguese were offering him X amount of money. Could you better that deal? And they did. So he was early capitalism, just venture capitalist at his core, just lie. Fake it till you make it.
Correcto. So since the Muslims had cut off all the land trade routes to Asia, and
whoa, time out. No, they hadn't. That's not true. It's just you didn't want to pay money to Muslims to go through their land, even though the opposite way round was also true. You were charging Muslims to go through your land. So you just wanted a cheap way of doing it. The Muslims weren't cutting off anything. This is such bollocks.
Yeah,
this
all of it's
entire
a lie.
fucking thing is just rubbish.
From start to finish.
Fucking hell. Ah.
Europeans still wanted Asian things, I came up with a crazy plan to get there by sailing west.
Why was that crazy?
Because no one knew if it could be done.
Is that because people thought the world was flat?
No, that's a myth. Since the time of the ancient Greeks, educated people have known the world is round and could possibly be sailed out of.
Leaving out all the
But
slavery.
Earth was believed to be so big that with so much ocean between Europe and Asia, no way could a ship hold enough food and water for its crew to survive a westward journey between the continents.
You thought differently?
I did my own calculations and thought maybe could be done. I might have played with the numbers a bit, but I was desperate to give it a try.
It's usually called lying. It's usually
Yeah, you
called
just-
misinformation.
So you basically did perpetrated a fraud on the people who sponsored your trip.
Yeah.
Yes, another criminal act
Yeah.
here
A little
mentioned.
bit of embezzlement of public funds. Not that public funds was really a concept then, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Sounds like your sponsor needed to be desperate too.
I first asked the King of Portugal, but his advisors told him my plan would never work, so he said no. Then I tried Spain, and they said no too. But after 6 years of bugging their king and queen, Ferdinand and Isabella, I finally got them to agree to pay for my voyage west out to the great unknown.
It took 6 years?
Why did they finally give in?
Only they can know for sure. But it's probably no coincidence that after hundreds of years of fighting to kick the Muslim invaders out of their country, in what was known as the
I mean, when you say their country, in what respect? Because the idea of Reconquista is a very, very racist concept. Muslims have been living there pretty peacefully, actually, for centuries at this point. And then the Christians came in and killed lots of them. And then again,
so
this interestingly, little fact for you: the fact that there are still to this day several large Jewish populations in North Africa was at least in part down to the Reconquista, because in Muslim-held areas in the Iberian Peninsula, Jewish people were allowed to live. In the Christian one, they weren't. So when the Reconquista happened, the Jews left with the Muslims.
Also, is the idea here that if you've lived someplace and people from another place come in and invade it, it's perfectly moral to kick them out?
Yeah, you should tell the Native
Native Americans.
The Native Americans. Yes.
Native peoples.
Sorry. I thought I was. Yeah, it was India again. Oof.
Right, but funny how that's okay for Europeans.
Yeah.
Reconquista, the Spanish monarchs sent me on a mission to find new trade routes and maybe even find gold and riches.
So Spain was broke and needed money. They
So
were
you stole
desperate.
people.
You
Yeah.
said it,
Sold
not me. But Ferdinand and Isabella took a wild chance on my crazy idea. And here we are. I'm now sailing back to Spain to show off all kinds of amazing things I found.
Is that why you sailed back to Spain? You sure about that one, Chris? Because I thought it was you were literally sent back there in chains to be imprisoned.
You want to tell the story?
Well, I mean, I sort of did earlier. He was so brutal and violent, literally killing all of the peoples of the places he was in. Literally the Taino people, who existed in what is now Hispaniola.
But he was recalled from the New World.
Yeah, the Taino people don't exist anymore. He killed all of them. And he was so brutal that he was literally fired from his position as governor of that island and taken back to Spain under the order of the king and queen in chains and imprisoned. When you're so brutal that the Reconquista / Inquisition friends call you back for being too much of a cunt, you might be genuinely one of the most evil people that's ever lived.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he would have been in chains in the bottom of a boat right now.
Well, probably not in the bottom of the boat, but
Ship.
But
And confined to quarters.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, he was not free. He's not a free man to roam the decks, chatting to random time travelers.
So is this now where he's going to show all the shit he stole and the people he enslaved?
Well, discovered. You say stole, I say discovered. So
Yeah.
you know.
Discovered and then took without permission. That's
Well, look, if you want to be technical about it, but he certainly discovered it. No one else had ever seen it. So
No, the people who owned it before that,
checkmate.
Yeah.
Discovered Western civilization. True. Fact.
And tell of the wonders of the lands I've seen.
Okay, now that we have the backstory, we've got some questions. There are a lot of people in our time upset about how you acted once you found all these amazing things in these new.
Okay. I think we're getting to the crux of the matter.
all right, let's
He's
we
now
should
going to
just
have
skip
to.
to here.
He's now going to have to. I mean, I can't wait to see. I haven't pre-watched this. I assure you. That I can't wait to see how they massage the truth. Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke.
New lands.
Ah, that's right. You said I'm controversial.
You have no idea.
I've got nothing to hide. Ask away.
Okay, first, you're
If that's so, why did you lie in the letter from the hospital? Because I've done a lot of reading into all of this. He outright lied.
I feel like you should need to do some sort of video breakdown of this, like a proper historical
Well, I don't
fact
really
check
need to.
of this.
He's a fucking lunatic on Twitter and on Twitch, but his YouTube prepared content is very good. What's his fucking name again? The Australian who lives in Argentina who has wanted to fight. I've totally forgotten his fucking name. Someone in chat will remind me.
Wow, someone living in who wanted to fight? What?
Has said he was Bad Empanada. There we go. Said he was
okay.
going to fly to Argentina and fight him in the street. Mental case. Anyway, Bad Empanada is a prick, but his video on Christopher Columbus and he did a response to Knowing Better's frankly disgusting video on Christopher Columbus.
Yeah.
And it's excellent, and he does a fantastic breakdown of it. So if you really wanted to, you could go and watch his video. Actually, it's very
Well,
good.
it's more like to take the PragerU video and then do like fact check and then have someone come in and explain what's wrong about it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah,
That kind of thing.
Okay, maybe I could. They said in 1493, so he's way before he was arrested. Okay, but he didn't go back to Spain in 1493.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it 1492 that he sailed the ocean blue?
He did, yeah. That's when he.
Doesn't seem
And so,
long
but he
enough,
didn't.
yeah.
He didn't come back in 1493, did he? Or 1943, yeah. Which would have
I
been
don't
very
know. We'd have to
dangerous
look at the wiki.
because the U-boats were still around in 1943, so that would have been he
Way
would have been
late.
tricky. Although
Yeah.
technically Spain was a neutral country, so probably would have been alright. You know, you got to think about the practicalities through, people.
Oh, I wanted the time warp where Christopher Columbus comes back to 1940s Spain in water filled with U-boats.
Yeah,
I want to see that
exactly.
movie.
Your sailing plan was right, and all your doubters were wrong.
Well,
They
he's
were
an
wrong.
enigma,
My crew and
after
I
all.
were going to die because after 10 weeks of sailing west, we spotted land.
Your trip was 10 weeks?
You can't even handle a
By the way, this is also not fucking true because he landed at the Azores, which is an island chain about a third of the way across the Atlantic. So he didn't sail for 10 weeks unbroken.
They didn't address any of the controversial things he did. The stuff he stole, enslaving people,
Nope.
use of violence. He asked, oh, yes, I'm controversial, and then we deflect to a completely different topic.
Yep, total bollocks. Total bollocks.
2-hour car ride.
Ah, greatness requires patience.
You know the land you found wasn't India, right?
Really? Caramba! I
Again,
suspected
why is he
something was a
saying-
little off.
Fuck job, you lying cunts! He didn't suspect something was off. He literally went, no, not Vasco da... Was it Vasco da Gama? Oh, who the fuck? Someone help me in chat with the name of the person I'm thinking of.
Is it the guy, the Americo something? That
I can't remember. Anyway, he wrote that this was a completely new continent that had been discovered, etc., etc. And Columbus died. Amerigo Vespucci, thank you.
Yeah,
Which was what
Amerigo
Kristi said. Apologies.
yeah, I only had his first name, though.
Yeah. He wrote something like something about the new world or whatever. Anyway, and Christopher Columbus, before he died, referred to him as a Satanist. He said he was a lying Satanist.
This is such a whitewash. This is the fairy tale version of Christopher
Like he
Columbus.
Christopher Columbus didn't fucking suspect something was up. He literally said that the other people were working for Satan. What are you talking about?
Can we just see what the comments are like under this video? Just out of curiosity. Are people flipping out?
I hope so. Oh, the comments are turned off.
Of course.
Fucking bastards.
Of course.
So much for the freedoms of the peaches, Prager, you.
But my calculations suggested I had reached India, or at least the Far East.
So what happened
Yeah,
when you...
and your calculations were dog shit because you weren't a good explorer.
Yeah.
Like, other people were sailing the ships, so you literally didn't even do that. You're just shit at this. But white supremacy plus Christianity equals statues in
away with
every
whatever you
fucking
want.
city in the Americas.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
met the native people? who obviously discovered the land before you did, the Indians.
The first people we met were great. The Taino. They were peaceful.
Who you destroyed in their entirety. They
Why
do
do you
not
keep leaving
exist
that out?
anymore.
Yeah.
Also, they were great people. He literally wrote, or was it someone else, Bartolome de las Casas, who was the guy who's one of the great chroniclers of the time, who even though he thought he was fucking brilliant and awesome and was spreading Christianity, so yay, wrote about how, Columbus was doing some bad stuff as well. And he wrote that the Taino people knew nothing of war. In other words, they were the most peaceful motherfuckers. They helped them. They only started getting aggressive when Christopher Columbus started stealing their women. Literally. Taking and abducting women. Not to be used in nice ways. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. How come that's all being left out?
I wonder. Oh, yeah, because the racist cunts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Curious and really helpful.
Can we just pause it for a
I
second?
could tell right.
Sorry, there's a sick rationalization that goes into the perpetuation of this white supremacist bubble. And this is content, like this is white supremacist bubble content, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because when you bring up these parts of history, they're going to say, well, we can't be honest with kids because it's too brutal.
Okay.
Right?
But, okay.
We have to censor it. But, all right, so then they whitewash it. And kids grow up to be adults who think they didn't do anything bad. And then there's this emotional, conceptual mismatch between the atrocities of what actually happened and how they perceive them, because they have this cushion of a fairy tale protecting them. If we were honest with kids about what happened, we wouldn't have Columbus Day in a generation, because kids would grow up to be completely revolted by Columbus and hate them. Also the founders. Also, most whites in America for, a lot
especially
of
when you
its
go back
history.
so far. Like, I agree with the point that it might be too brutal to necessarily get graphic with it, but you can explain that these were, potentially bad people and they did bad things.
Yeah.
But also, you don't really even need to talk about him that much. He's not actually that important a figure in many respects. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that the reuniting of the humans of Earth between those that had gone to the Americas during the Ice Age and those that had remained in the Afro-Eurasia landmass wasn't a significant step in, the unification of Earth, right? But in terms of him as a human,
what he did with that.
Yeah, that's
there.
not. You don't need to talk about him. You can talk about the expedition. You can talk about the bad things that were done, but you don't need to make a hero out of him, because he wasn't a fucking hero.
No,
he was a fucking monster, even by his own day. Like, I agree that you can't necessarily put today's morality on everyone in the past. Things were very different. There's a nuanced historical perspective to be had. But when you're a prick by the standards of the fucking 15th century, you are a massive bastard.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just the white supremacy thing. Literally, like I say, in Spain they used to refer to it as the day of the race. And that was not a race like a Formula 1 race or a 100-metre dash. They're talking about white people being better than not white people.
Yes.
Which rather gives the game away, when you think about it. Not exactly hiding your power levels there, Spain.
No. And as long as we have this self-perpetuating bubble, because the kids growing up with the whitewash version will go, oh, well, my kids can't, we have to give them the whitewash version too, because it's just too graphic. They can't expose them to that, even though children were exposed to that.
Yeah, okay. If you don't want to expose them to Columbus, take down the fucking statues then.
Precisely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right away that they were highly intelligent. They even were able to quickly mimic everything we said to them. I ordered my men to treat them well.
I'm
What?
sorry,
Whoa,
Mr. Columbus.
whoa!
No.
You stole children for them to rape.
Yeah.
You literally stole women and girls for your crew to rape and to be sold into sexual slavery. You did. That's just. I mean, that's just one of the most egregious lies I've ever heard. That is fucking disgusting. Honestly, that is fucking atrocious. Prager, you should be genuinely ashamed. I'll be honest with you, I'm considering flagging this video for misinformation at this point, because that's not just bad history, that's just an outright complete opposite lie. That is fucking despicable. Yes, okay, 255. I'm not here to fucking just cater to you, mate. You can't just fucking demand my attention all the time. I've got a guest for a start off. Just chill, bruh. Come on. Sorry, I'm getting angry. It's too far. It's not your fault. It's Prager you. They're annoying me, mate.
They are
But
pretty
I heard
annoying.
at school that you spoiled paradise and you brought slavery and murder to peaceful people.
Leo?
Sorry. It's what I read and heard at school.
Caramba! Those are some accusations. The place I discovered was beautiful, but it wasn't exactly a paradise of civilization, and the
Whoa!
What?
Whoa! 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 Time out. A paradise of civilization. Would you call the torture of religious minorities civilized?
Apparently.
Because that's what the people paying for your voyage were doing, literally at the time you were doing it, mate. Whereas the people there, again, to quote Bartolome de las Casas, knew nothing of war. I'd say that's pretty civilized, actually. Yeah, no, they were living a peaceful coexistence in nature. Yeah, they didn't have like multi-story fucking skyscrapers, although technically neither did Spain. But they had, they didn't have multi-story buildings. They lived in huts and stuff. It was pretty rustic environment. But I'd say that's a far more civilized way of living than literally torturing people because they believe a slightly different version of ancient Jewish folklore than you.
And enslaving them and exploiting them.
Yeah. And of course, actually, in many parts of the Americas, they had better hygiene practices because they realised that living around rivers of piss and shit in your cities was not a good idea. They hadn't worked out germ theory just yet, but they were on the road in a way that many parts of Europe were not. Yeah, so actually, yeah, whilst it clearly wasn't a paradise because that's not possible, they're humans. Yeah, I'd say they're actually much more civilised in many respects. But anyway, I'm sure he's going to address the child rape in a minute.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
native people were far from peaceful.
But you just said the Taino were peaceful.
They pretty much are. But there are other tribes who aren't. The Taino I had met had cut...
Yes, some of them were... But again, you've got to bear in mind that by the time that they'd reached many places, including the mainland, news had spread about what they'd been doing. Literally, I mean, this was slightly later on and a completely different person. But by the time the Incas of Peru were reached by his cousin in fucking 30 years later, wherever he was, he was literally already aware of the fact that they'd been burning villages throughout the Americas. He'd been told about all of this. He knew, like news spreads. There are these crazy pale motherfuckers.
Yep,
going around the place,
people.
killing people, raping babies and that. Like, people.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. They're gonna get a bit defensive when they first interact with you at that point. I think. Yeah, I think that's fair enough, actually.
And yeah, rightly
reasonable
so.
response.
Yeah. And also, you don't get to enslave again. There were some that were aggressive. You were invading their territory.
Yeah.
You know, there's none of that. It's just like this is genocide apologetics.
Yeah. Oh God. They've been my artists have been at work again.
Oh, have they? Okay, I've got Twitch up.
No, I've shared it with you.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Welcome, kids of a time-travelling and/or Hispanic disposition. What do you think of doing some historical revisionism?
Please put that on Twitter, please.
Okay,
Please.
but they won't get the reference.
It doesn't matter. It's hilarious.
It's genius, isn't it?
It is. Who gets the applause for that one?
Someone who needs to get a fucking life. Pandinus Rex. There you go. Thank you,
Pandinus Rex.
Pandinus.
Nicely done.
Much love.
Nicely done.
That is, yeah. It's beautiful. It's art, is what it is. I don't necessarily know what art is, but I know what I like.
From the Hollywood Bowl.
True.
Yeah, I recognize that reference.
That is the Google Meet reference. That is. I didn't need that. Fuck me, I am struggling here. There we go. Right. Tweet. Elon, you prick. Tweet. There we go. I'm just going to scream at Elon Musk every time something happens that I don't like.
Nice.
Thanks, Elon. Anyway. Yeah. Right. So they're just lying. Just blatantly lying about everything. This is... Even by Prager. I knew this was going to be bad, because obviously it was going to be bad. Look at the title. But... Fuck me. This is tragic.
It is literally genocide apologetics.
Yeah. Which, it's not just even apology, it's denial. If you're saying,
Yeah.
I asked my men to treat them well, no, you didn't.
Nope.
No, you did not. There was a thing called the encomienda system, or the repartimiento, or however the fuck you pronounce that other version of it, which was technically, and this is the defence that a lot of people will use, technically they weren't slaves in the chattel sense of slavery, and that is actually technically true. They didn't own them. The King and Queen of Spain owned them from afar as a way of being given out to the people on the plantations. And in many respects it was actually more brutal than chattel slavery, because in chattel slavery you the slave had invested wealth within it, i.e. you paid for it, so it was something that you needed to keep alive, potentially, right? It was worth something to you. Whereas under the repartimiento system, the person that the King and Queen of Spain gave to you, the people, you could just work them to death, and you'd just be given more.
Oh God.
Because there was no investment value to you. You didn't need to sell them on again because you couldn't sell them. So literally, they just they burned through people at a rate that meant entire islands had their populations devastated, which was one of the spurs for the transatlantic slave trade, because they had to repopulate those islands with other people.
More workers.
Yeah. So, there's that. Don't take the piss out of my Spanish, you bastard. La biblioteca, you fuck.
There's like so many films about Columbus, but none of them, they should be from the point of view of the native population, native peoples.
Well, because you're exactly right. Yeah, it absolutely fucking should. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the reason that he's famous, the reason that we all know of him, is because he's the hero of white people, right? He's the hero of whiteness.
But he's presented to us as that, and so it's white people especially who need to tear it down and shit on it and just show it for what the horrific human rights atrocities, violations that happened.
Yeah. So he's a genuinely awful human being. And by the way, his system of slavery was the one that would be used in the Americas for hundreds of years. So even the ones that died after him, he has some guilt in as well. So he's literally arguably one of the most evil people who ever lived.
Again, you show up to a place, it's not yours, and you start taking shit, and you wonder why people don't like you, and you start taking people, and you use violence, and then you wonder why you're not welcome.
Yep.
This doesn't justify his actions, and yet this is what they're saying. Is, he was white and he was entitled to those things, and so when he couldn't get them easily, he had the right to just use endless violence to get what he wanted.
And scars and bruises all over them. I asked why, and they told me about the Caribs, who are vicious, warring cannibals.
Cannibals?
There was literally, again, they're just spreading the same lies as before. There's no evidence that the Caribs were ever cannibals. Literally, it's just a lie.
It's just a lie that white people made up.
They made
to justify.
Justify this shit. They said they were cannibals. They were ungodly. Absolute bullshit.
Yeah,
There's
still doesn't give
literally
you the right to enslave.
No evidence for it. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, it would still, even if they were all absolute rabid cannibal lunatics, you still can't enslave them. But regardless, this is one of the things that they used to say.
Yeah.
Well, they're not civilized. We need to civilize these people, and they were perfectly civilized. They were more warlike than the Taino. That is true, but they were literally far less warlike than the Spaniards.
Yeah.
Or the Genoans. Absolute. This is one of the most racist things that Prager has ever put up.
Yes, it is. It's white supremacist, white fascist or Christian fascist, white supremacist propaganda.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And also, by the way, this is really getting into the weeds, and we'll show you how much of a fucking geek I am. But one of the things that they said earlier, it's just popped into my head. One of the things they said earlier about spreading Christianity, actually one of the things that the Catholics did not like about what Columbus was doing was he was purposefully trying to not spread Christianity in some parts, because the Catholic Church had pronounced that you can't enslave fellow Christians. So if he made Christians of the natives, he couldn't enslave them anymore. So he purposely chose certain parts of islands, or certain islands, that would not be... that he didn't send missionaries to. When priests would arrive on the boat from Spain, he would not send them to those places. to convert those islanders because he literally wanted to keep enslaving them, and as Christians he couldn't enslave them.
Christians got around that rule pretty quickly, though, didn't
Yep.
they?
Yep, just deny them the word of God, which is literally a thing that they would send you
Well,
to hell for.
and later they'd enslave you and then force you to convert and keep you enslaved.
Yeah, no, that was fine. Yeah, at the point of
Yeah.
enslavement, if they weren't Christians, that was fine. They could carry on being slaves after that.
Yeah,
So,
but
yeah.
later on,
Yeah.
they'd even enslave Christians.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, initially there was a little bit of a theological hiccup that they quickly
Indeed.
smoothed out.
Yeah.
I really feel like you can count up like all of the white supremacist lies in here and just do them as like little TikToks, like not long, not like an hour-long rebuttal. I don't think that flies on YouTube anymore. But if you broke it up to like a series of like the 6 worst pieces of white supremacist propaganda in this.
Yeah, I don't know if you could get it down to 6.
Well, no, you probably not, but it'd be the top 6 or the
Yeah.
top 5.
Yeah.
I can just say there were more in here, but I can only do 5.
Like they
Eat people. See.
Whoa.
Right? Hey, all the things that are bad in the world I come from, jealousy, lying.
Hang on. So they're not even gonna like. I thought they were gonna do a thing where it's like, are you sure they were cannibals? Because I heard they weren't cannibals, and then move on, or like something like that, leave it open. But they're not even gonna challenge the lie of cannibalism. Genius. I mean, this is fucking disgusting.
Murder, war, it all exists in the land I just found too. But in Europe we draw the line at things like eating people and human sacrifice.
What do you think your religious wars are? When you burn people at stakes, that's a religious
Yeah.
sacrifice.
Also, when they say human sacrifice, they're talking about the Inca, and to an extent the Aztec, but he never interacted with.
Yeah, and
The
also
people of the islands that he did interact with didn't do that. So they're now adding in more weird racist shit from the European expansion into the Americas after he was dead.
Mm-hmm. By the way, Shadimar in the chat had the same thought I did, which is, motherfucker, your entire Eucharist ceremony is about cannibalism.
Yep, human flesh and blood.
You literally ritually eat human flesh and blood every time you go to mass, you Catholic. So you really
but
can't.
Jesus is so tasty.
Yeah, and
So-
cannibalism is a sort of like a moral offense, now probably a crime, obviously, that takes place after someone's dead. Enslavement lasts their entire life.
Yep.
Some of the native folks from where I just left do those things regularly. So,
Again,
these
not true.
people in your time who think it was a peaceful paradise are misinformed. Or lying.
Yeah, but what about slavery? You didn't-
You fucking hypocrite cunt. Fuck off.
He is a cunt, isn't he? He's a proper
This whole
cunt.
video is a lie.
It is.
Fucking wind your neck
It's
in.
straight up what Christian fascism.
Ah. You fuck.
deny that.
Deny? No. Slavery is as old as time and has taken place in every corner of the world. Even
But you initiated
Yeah.
it. The King
Yeah.
and Queen of Spain at no point ever said send slaves to us. He consistently sent 5 fucking shipments of over 2,000 slaves. 2,000 in total. Slaves across the Atlantic. He was the first person to do that. The King and Queen of Spain at no point asked. In fact, they specifically asked him to fucking stop, and he wouldn't.
Yeah. A lot of crimes have happened all throughout time. It doesn't mean they were right.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Slavery was always wrong.
Yeah, a shit ton of them died on the trip. Yeah, he literally initiated the Middle Passage. Yeah. So again, there's layers upon layers of evil with this guy. He's an onion of evil. He's a lasagna of evil, to make it Italian. Yeah.
amongst the people I just left. Being taken as a slave is better than being killed, no? I don't see
What?
Well, in our
What is... Honestly, this is gonna hurt. This is hurting me.
It's better to be the slave of a white man than live free in the chance that maybe there'll be some war in the future, which is what
Yeah.
everyone at that time lived with.
So just pro-slavery stuff.
Yeah, basically.
Just
They're doing straight up pro-slavery.
pro-slavery stuff.
You want to work on a more polished response to this? Because this is like, remember when they had to take down, was it a Frederick Douglass or
No, I can't remember. He was something very, very
Harriet, Harriet Tubman or something, but they had to
Yeah.
end up oh no, it was the burial. Was that Lee's memorial? It was about Robert E.
Oh,
Lee.
yeah. The one where they're like, well, he got buried near to his horse.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking pricks. Like, I care about him having his horse buried near. Like, that makes me think, oh, well, the slavery thing was fine then. Yeah, he killed how many hundreds of thousands of Americans? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. You fucking nerds.
This is straight up, like Nazism, fascist, like propaganda.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah, I might do a more polished response to this.
I'll help you out with it if you need it.
Editing's so annoying though.
I can edit it. I have I have an app on my phone, on my tablet. I can edit it on an evening in front of the telly.
Okay.
And just send me the clips. Tell me what you want. I'll give you some options.
Okay. Defended the enslavement of like 5 million in the CSI. Well, indeed, yes, yeah. Lee was also bad.
Time we view slavery as being evil and terrible.
Ah, magnifico. That's wonderful.
Okay. I'm getting ideas for this now.
Why? No. What do you mean magnifico? You fuck. He literally did. Why do you think he was against slavery?
Sorry, I wasn't even listening because I'm thinking about the video now, and I'm thinking, do you have a green screen?
No.
All right, we can get you one like really cheap. But I'm thinking we should green screen you and like put you into this next to Columbus, just yelling at him.
Just screaming at Columbus.
Yeah.
That could work. Yeah, that could work. Okay.
You'd be like the ghost of the conscience of the future.
Yeah.
And like nobody's listening to you because you're a ghost. No one can hear you, but you can just like yell at them and yell at the kids.
I've always wanted to be a ghost in a Prager because of Stalin. The bisexual icon Stalin, who was a ghost in a PragerU video. Yep. It's still literally my sound when I get a raid is him saying "off to the gulag" from that video.
Yep.
The Solzhenitsyn one.
Greeks.
I am glad humanity has reached such a time. But you said you're from 500 years in the future? How can you come here to the 15th century and judge me by your standards from the 21st century?
Holy shit.
For those in the
It is straight up slavery apology.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually heard such blatant in a kid's cartoon.
Yeah.
Slavery apology.
All I'll say is, okay, well, I won't do that then. I'll just use the standards of the King and Queen of Spain who arrested you. They lived at the same time as you, mate, and they didn't like you either.
How about this? You know what you're doing is causing human misery, so stop. Like, it's not that hard. But he's greedy and psychopathic.
Yes, he is.
in the future to look back and do this is, well, estúpido.
Are you calling me dumb?
Certainly not. I can tell you're a very smart young lady. But the idea of throwing away the past because of...
Did he... I mean, I don't know. He didn't have a massively enlightened view of women. I don't think he would think any women were clever.
Nope. Funny how they're not talking to any of the people he enslaved.
Well, because they're all dead.
Yes, but the point is, you know, the slave owner will always say, oh, you know, it's not fair and blah, blah, blah. But if they're only hearing from the slave owners, that means they're not hearing from the effects of what he did. You know, again, this is a way to whitewash this. You hear from the oppressor class. And that's it. The victims are silenced.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
Of your present values is... Listen, I love and am thankful for the ancient Greeks, but they did...
Pronounce it correctly.
Greeks.
Lots of things that here in 1493 I do not agree with. They permitted life...
Like bum sex.
Yep, he's about to say it. Yep.
Styles and worship gods that, as a Christian, I think is very bad. But
God didn't
that
exist
doesn't mean I shouldn't respect and honor all the...
Although Christopher Columbus did discover God as well. So, literally true. Eddie, you have been in my chat the entire fucking show. Hit the follow button, or I will quote unquote discover you. Okay?
Incredible and amazing things they did.
So, good and bad is based on the time you live in?
That is a great question. I told you I knew you were smart. Some things are clearly bad, no matter when they happen. But for other things...
Why are they playing tango music over this now? This is so it's so jarring.
Italian.
Oh no.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Eddie! Welcome to the Kevolution, you fucking stubborn son of a bitch.
Whoop, whoop.
Before you judge, you must ask yourself, what did the culture and society of the time treat as no big deal? Not everyone can time travel as you do and see how normal becomes very not normal.
Some things are, some things aren't. Sounds complicated.
It is, and so is life. And history can be too. If people in your time want to celebrate me for being a perfect hero, then they are very mistaken. Only my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is perfect.
Oh my
and I
God.
hope to spread his teaching to all the lands I find that don't.
Except the ones that you purposefully didn't so you can enslave them.
We need to have you have to have something with sugar glass, a lot of sugar glass, and just keep smashing things in anger.
If Jesus is so perfect, why don't you and Jesus get a fucking room? Dickhead.
Know his name. But if people in your time want to celebrate the guts I had to get this journey approved, start it, survive it, and get back to tell about it, well, that seems pretty good for any time and age.
I think
Pause
you're
it.
right.
Pause it. Is the next one how Hitler bounced back from being imprisoned?
Yeah. Well, it just goes to show you, right? He was never imprisoned again, was he? Which just
Nope.
goes to show you, recidivism can be cured by imprisonment. Prison works. Okay?
But you're gonna recognize
Same with
me for
Nelson
being
Mandela.
scrappy and climbing to the top of a pyramid of exploited and enslaved people.
Hitler and Nelson Mandela, that's what they've got in common. Prison works.
Clip that.
Clip it. Clip it.
Clip it and ship it.
Fucking hell.
Right. Thanks for answering our questions, Mr. Columbus.
You're a courageous explorer, and you've given me a lot to think about. Thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
screw those
You're
brown
welcome,
people.
kids.
True.
Now, let me lock you up and show you to the King and Queen of Spain. Ah, just kidding.
You're too
Safe
white.
travels, my friends.
You're
Bye.
white. You're fine. You should say that.
God. Oh, God. It's not even done. I can't wait to see what they're going to say now. Actually, Christopher
And what happened at the
Columbus
PT meeting?
was awesome. Well, they're orphans, Christy. We've worked this out already. Their parents don't exist. It's literally, the parents are just off screen, honest. Ha ha ha, look, there they are. Hello, Mum and Dad. Just off screen, you can't see them, but they're definitely there.
They're at home for
Columbus
orphan
sure had a
kids.
crazy life,
He made 3 more journeys across the ocean to the New World.
and it
Got
seems
more
like most of the
slaves.
negative reports about him come from people who were his competition for things.
I don't
What?
think Christopher Columbus was a villain.
Sorry,
And maybe
sorry,
he
sorry.
wasn't
Pause. Pause. What?
Do you want me
His
to go back?
critics were other white people. Did you
Well,
hear
some
that?
of them were, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, but
there were
what
lots of
they're saying-
brown people too.
Go back. It might have because I know you're in shock. But listen to the way that she basically dismisses all of the people who died because of Christopher Columbus.
The ocean to the New World.
And it seems like most of the negative reports about him come from people who were his competition for things.
No.
What, like the King and Queen of Spain?
Oh yeah. Also, Bartolome de las Casas. Again, he's one of the major people we have as a chronicler of the time, who literally said that Christopher Columbus was sent by God to do God's work in the Caribbean. He was a massive fan of him. Literally, also wrote about the evil things he did. If he wasn't competition, he might as well have been sucking him off. What are you talking about?
And they kind of skipped over the whole being brought back in chains, didn't they? In this little off piece.
A little bit. Oh no! They've actually clipped Hitler and Nelson Mandela. Amazing. I can't be bothered. Hang on.
And enslaved people.
Hitler and Nelson Mandela. That's what they've got in common. Prison. What?
And enslaved people.
Oh no! That is a very bad clip. Thank you. Out of context, that does not make me look good. I mean, even in context, it's not great, but at least it's
No.
a joke.
I don't think Christopher Columbus was a villain. And maybe he wasn't a hero, but he sure did some heroic things that are definitely worth celebrating.
What did he do that was heroic?
He sailed a boat, like a ship. A lot of people sailed ships.
He was from Genoa. Look, that's just what they did. They might as well have been born with fucking rudders. Like, it's not that impressive, actually. Especially when, again, he was trying to get to India and was thousands of miles away. He was literally continents and oceans away.
Yeah, so why don't we look at the effects he had on, like you said, wiping out populations, enslaving people, bringing disease, forced conversions. None of that gets covered in this.
No. Well, why would it? This is just propaganda.
He was quite spunky and sailed across the ocean, risked his life and the life of his men on a hope.
Yeah.
And he could have lost very easily.
Yep.
And then when he landed, people were nice to him instead of killing him on the spot, which, in retrospect, they probably should have done.
Yeah, probably.
It's too bad that he met a really nice tribe first.
Yeah,
is
if
all
only
I'll
he bumped
say.
into the Caribs and they'd fucking TOS'd him.
Yet.
Can't finish that sentence properly.
Nope, TOS'd him.
Yeah.
And then that changes a lot of human history because then they're prepared. They know what's coming.
Yep. Also, it might give the Europeans some pause for thought about taking these
Yep.
people for granted.
And a lot of the things we judge him for now were just normal in his time. You never know, Leo. Maybe some of the things we're told are fine today will be considered evil or crazy in the future. But being
Yes, Dennis. I wonder if there are any things you believe now that will be considered evil in the future. And I wonder whether that gives you any pause for thought as to whether you should change your opinions, you fucking arsehole.
Like, mind your own fucking business, basically. It's not that hard. Your religion, it's in your house. When you leave your house, you can't impose your religious beliefs anymore.
Why would
It's
anyone
not how
leave their
that works.
house? It's full of the world is full of playgrounds.
Other people.
Yeah. Coughing in your face with your fucking COVID germs. Get away from me.
courageous and wanting to explore the world are things worth admiring in any century.
If you'd like to time travel,
Literally go fuck yourself.
Honestly.
Holy shit.
The consequences of your actions don't matter if, as long as you're in the oppressor.
That was
straight up fascist propaganda.
honestly, even by Prager standards, that
No,
was
no,
bad.